If you have watched our channel for any period of time, you know that we have had a kind of a love-hate relationship with this old girl. She was our first dairy cow, and we got her because she was smaller and we thought it'd be easy to handle, but she's been really, I don't know, difficult, ornery. She runs away a lot, she breaks through fences, she's really hard to milk, and she kicks, she acts aggressively, but still our first cow, so we have kind of mixed feelings about it. But today we're taking her to the butcher. We tried to sell her on Craigslist a little bit, but we were real honest with people about the fact that she doesn't behave real well, and maybe around kids she's a little not super trustworthy, so no one was really willing to buy her. So we've decided to butcher her, even though she won't really put off much meat. At least it's making use of our livestock. So we borrowed a trailer, and today we're going to load her up and get her to the butcher.
Scare her.
Thank you.
Look, Dad. She wants to come out with you.
It's a weird feeling. I'm not used to it yet. We knew coming onto the land that we would be butchering animals. There's a weird sense of loss when you do that because you want meat and you want to feed your family, but you know that animal, you know, and you've loved on it. And I feel differently now about my food. I've had many lamb chops before I ever met a lamb. I've had many hamburgers before I ever met a cow. It's different. If you like meat and you are completely disconnected from where that meat comes from and the life that it lived, that's normal. That's how most people live, but it's I think it's, in a way, it's better this way. You appreciate more what goes into raising meat, and the kids are getting used to it. You know, we have these animals that they've let climb on their laps, and they've rubbed down their heads, and they've played King of the Mountain with them with the hay bales, but they know that some of those animals are going to go and become food for us in the future, and that's okay. That's just part of the farm life. It's actually good. I guess it's really good.
It's funny, last fall we butchered that goat, and I just decided I was going to disconnect from it, and I was just going to butcher the goat. And I'm not the one who killed it, but I helped skin it and gut it, and I cut up all the meat, and we've eaten it. And I just decided that was okay, and we butchered a whole bunch of chickens with our friends last fall, and you just do it. Because I know that I want to eat meat, and this is where it comes from, and you just do it. And with this cow, I'm not going to do any part of it. We're taking her to the butcher because even though she's a small cow, she's big. Bigger than we think we can handle right now. I think I'm having a hard time. I'm trying to analyze why. Other than when we got here last year, the first thing we got was a whole bunch of chickens. I got my first goat and her baby, and she is a pain in the butt. Almond is she hates being milked. She's not a very good mama, but I love her. I love her because she was my first goat. so I can't get rid of her. Most people say, just get rid of her and get goats that let you milk them and that, you know, are good mamas. And I have some of those, and that's good. But I can't get rid of my first goat. And I think that's where I'm going with the cow, is she was my first cow. And when I saw her, I fell in love with her. I'd never taken care of cows before. We have no experience with that whatsoever. I just fell in love with her. She was like what I thought was the perfect cow, like for our homestead. She was small. I'd be able to handle her. I was terrified, and she knew it. She knew I was terrified. She took advantage of that. She's a bossy cow, and I got afraid of her. But that doesn't mean I don't still love her. She was supposed to be a milk cow. You're not supposed to butcher your milk cow, right? You're supposed to love your milk cow. You have a long relationship with your milk cow. But in the end, she's aggressive to us. I mean, not to everyone. I mean, I feel she is aggressive to Brendan, but he can just push her around. He's not afraid of her. I'm afraid of her. The kids are afraid of her. That doesn't set up a good situation on our homestead. So as much as I love this cow, we decided that because we couldn't sell her, that the best end for her was to make a little meat and some soup bones for us. Kind of feels like a waste to me of a good cow, because I think she's a really good mama. That baby is still nursing. She's gonna be really sad when mama doesn't come home today. She's 1 year old, but feels like a waste to me of a good cow. But she wasn't a good cow to us, so I guess this is the best use of her. But I'm still sad.
If you are designing a tiny home, you're going to have trouble with the stairs, because stairs do not fit in a tiny home. Stairs are really big, and designing stairs is very difficult because the math is complicated and the angles are complicated, and you're going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. We originally thought we would kind of have a ladder, something like that, to climb up, but that ended up being way too steep and just not comfortable for everybody to get up and down. And so we thought, well, somewhere between this and this would be stairs, this would be ladder. There's going to be a happy medium somewhere in there. So we decided to be about this angle to make it comfortable and still have a place to put your hands when you climb. But we're going to put a stove here. And the bottom of the stair basically came in contact with the front of the stove. That wasn't going to work either. So we came up with the idea of instead going this way with our stairs up to the loft. And that bought us more space so that you can climb them comfortably with hands on the rail, which is really the stringer, and still get up there. The problem is then you can't get on the stairs because it's all the way at the wall. So instead what we decided to do is we got on the computer, we spent hours drawing it up on SketchUp, and then decided this would be a platform. So there'll be basically one step here, a very small landing essentially, and then you'll start up the steps. The steps are still really steep, and the rise is 10.5 inches, which is way higher than you're allowed to do for code. But that allows us to put these steps, stair, ladder hybrid in this tiny home. We're building it today, and hopefully we'll get it assembled by the end of the day. There's going to be a small landing here, maybe just about 18 inches. So when you get to the top, you have room to kind of turn and go between some rails. That's the vision, and we added this just to hold it up, just to give it some structure. So there'll be two braces, similar braces right here, kind of a false timber frame. It's screwed in, but it's kind of a false timber frame bracket. That's the plan. All right, we worked for Bam. Okay, we worked for about 2 days building the stairs and getting them all together. We're gonna assemble them now. There's like, I think there's 32 pieces. There's only 67 pieces in the whole frame, but
32 extra in the
32
stairs.
extra here. So it should go pretty fast, right? I think I got a hernia in my right arm. Can you get a hernia in your right arm?
Yes. You can get a hernia anywhere.
No, I've never done this before. Thank you for asking. Can you get that one started or no?
No, I'm not on the housing.
Look on the house. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna hit that. I'm not gonna say anything. I was just turning the light on because it's dark. It's addictive putting those pins in.
Oh, wait a second.
No,
Just
it's
start
okay.
talking.
No, go ahead.
They're good. Stop. Why are you hammering them still?
Because this one was locked.
Today is day 2 of the pizza oven build. We had to postpone for a few weeks because our family that was in town and we hoped would help out had an allergic reaction to all the straw, so we just put it aside. But this is how far we've gotten. We built the base and the top that's going to hold some bottles, the glass bottles that are going to form an insulating layer, and then we're going to put a layer of fire brick. So right now this is just sand. We're going to smooth it out and start building the actual oven. What we're going to do to form the dome of the pizza oven is to build kind of what I would call a sand castle out of sand, cover that with a layer of cob, and then dig out the sand once it's dried a little bit. So we went and bought 500 pounds of sand, play sand, got it wet, and are building a sand castle. Pretty good. I forgot to say they were putting a layer of newspaper, wet newspaper, over the sand to make a barrier between the sand and the cob. So when we dig it out, it'll be a little easier to remove. It also helps to hold the little sandcastle together so it doesn't collapse quite as easily. We had a little trouble getting a true dome. We were hoping to make like a semicircle hemisphere, if you will, but it ended up kind of like a peak. I think it's going to be fine.
It kind of looks like those little mushrooms from Mario.
Yeah, that's kind of
Hey, can you rub the top of this mushroom's head for me really quick?